Hi everyone, and welcome back to the YouTube channel. You are joining us at a project in progress. This is a two-layer roof that the top layer is just kind of sitting there. The next layer down is in much better shape, and it's literally just sitting there. We're able to pull off the shingles by hand with no tools. We are doing a partial tear off, and we are doing that to save time, save some money. This is an old style roof that originally had cedar shake, so there's no plywood substrate underneath, and that can be a challenge for a homeowner or a DIY situation. We're going to do the best we can. We're not professionals. This video is not for professional roofers. This is for DIYers. I am going to talk a lot. So if you don't like to hear ladies talking about their roof or their DIY, then this isn't the channel for you. I am going to tell you about saving money. I'm going to talk to you about the products that we're using, the why, just kind of our progress as we go along, and how we're managing to get this roof done. This is a 12, I think he said 1210 roof. The 12 degree is the angle or pitch of it, I guess. And we are using roofing jacks, safety equipment, products from Home Depot, Menards, anything we can get our hands on locally, because we can just go pick it up with no delivery fee on our way back and forth to work. The funny thing is, a minute ago, I'm walking out of the garage behind me with shingles, and these guys in a roofing truck are looking at the roof of this yellow house, which is ours, laughing and pointing, and I'm going in there to go get shingles, and then they see me come out. They decided not to go ahead and leave one of their company flyers there for me. Well, the house is done being painted, and it's time to be working on the roof. We are doing a partial tear off. This has 2 layers. In our state, you can have 3. Actually had this quoted out by a contractor 2 years ago, and he told me $10,000. He said if we need to buy any lumber for it, it's going to be more. Well, lumber is really high. It's about $36 to $39 a sheet for plywood. We figured out it would be $1,600 to resheath the entire roof if we were to hire a contractor and go that way. The house originally had cedar shakes, then these interlocking shingles, and then Sheriff Goslin shingles. So the lifetime warranty on the shingles basically is pointless. It's not your lifetime or the house's lifetime. It's if the product fails in the lifetime of the product. Well, all roof shingles are going to fail. So you can see we've had some storm damage where they've just been losing a little bit at a time, but we had decided that this was a good weekend to start working on this. We are in October and having some beautiful mid-70-degree days. Today was only supposed to be about 60, but it feels like 70. Very warm and nice. So Guy is just getting into the area that he can't reach anymore with the ladder, and we are starting to put in our first roof jacks. So once he gets the roof jacks in, he'll have to maybe work his way up the middle. We've got an anti-fall harness, but the point of all of that is you have to get to the peak to attach the harness in the first place. So he's thinking if he works roof jacks up the center, then he can mount that right up there and get harnessed in. These are the roofing jacks that we are using, and these were a 45, and he says it's a 12 degree pitch. They require a 20D nail. These are extra heavy and galvanized. Only a pound available at a time. Here you can see the roof jack mounted to the roof now, and these roof jacks give you a hole in the end to screw them. So if you have a decent drill, our clutch tends to slip in these Ryobi drills, so maybe use a Milwaukee or something else, but every time we try to use them, they fail for driving screws deep into wood. He's getting another one anchored in right here. He's going to have 3 across with 10-foot boards across the length of the house, and that'll help him to do the next few courses of the roofing. Just a screw. So he's getting those anchored in there, and we were talking about the fall harness system. Okay. There's an adjustment on the clutch thing on the drill, and it's allowing him to like have it be more aggressive. But the harness, we thought, well, maybe it's supposed to go in the inside of the house in the attic and you cut a hole or something to put through. No, it goes on the roof. So basically, as far as I can see it, I've been looking and doing my searching. We had a harness that didn't have the rest of the fall protection, like the rope. It was just the body harness. No anchor. The anchor was another like $30, and the anchor that came with the bucket was way heavier duty, so I'll show you that. But he's got to get that up there so that he is anchored. This ladder maxes out somewhere around 200 pounds. The harness system says 420, I think, with the man and the equipment. This is a little giant 1A ladder, and it's a heavy duty industrial, but it still can open up longer than it is, but then you're ending up resting the ladder on the new trim edge, so we don't want that. The good thing about doing a partial tear off the way that we're doing it, or a layer, is our state says that you can't have more than 3 layers. And like I said, when I had this quoted, it's been, I guess, 2 years now, because it was during the height of all the mess. They told me I had 5. So the guy was blowing smoke up my rear and saying that he had to do a complete tear off. Well, it doesn't matter if you tear off 1 layer or if you tear off 3, because the tool gets up under, it's like a pry bar, and it pulls up on all the layers at once. It's not more work to do more layers, it's just more disposal. So if, you know, dumpster rental comes into play. So he's been throwing shingles here, and there's a little pile over there, but not too much, mostly accumulated from today. We've got a small pile back here, and you can see they're basically falling apart, and that's the reason for taking that top layer. It's the same thing as the curling shingles on the opposite side, on the yellow house next door. So I went up previously and I cleaned off everything off of the top of that bathroom to get the weight off of there. We've got rain and possible some high winds. I don't want it ending up in all the neighbor's yard. So we've got a nice neat pile here. We're not even at a truck bed load at this point, not even on a S10 or a Ranger truck bed. So we're keeping it, I keep picking up here and pushing it up right there and checking the yard for nails and just keeping it contained, because as you can hear, we're on a busy road and we don't want it to look unsightly. So I just keep going around and doing that, and it's going to be a nice neat pile and an easy cleanup. He's down. He wanted me to get hooked back up. He wanted to have some assistance. This has to be pushed to depress this lever. It's a real good harness. He's being very safe. This, you have to squeeze and do whatnot to get up and down. So he's using this like mountain climbing rope to get up to the ladder jacks. Yeah, so he slides it to where he needs it. So then once he's up there, he can reposition it, and that keeps him safe there so that he can't fall down to here.
Give me that tape over. I gotta go take that with me so I can.
So to show you, see how he's, and because we haven't reached the peak yet, now he could keep going up and climb the peak and get that other anchor in there. Now to have that anchor in there proper, you've got to remove some of your cap or your ridge, and He said he wasn't quite ready to do that because we're expecting rain tonight. So for today, this wrapping it around the chimney is working really well for him. Now I did find out today, they do make some other anchors that are a permanent anchor. The ridge anchor is the temporary anchor that you remove, and there's permanent anchors that you can leave. Now these roof jacks are nailed into with 420D heavy galvanized nails. They are probably 8 inches long. They're going into a rafter, or if you had a newer home, a truss on this angle. So yeah, it is very, very steep. Just to show you here, like this is flat on an angle. So not the kind of thing. I'm standing on the top of the bathroom right now. I'm comfortable with that. It's a very small angle, not much at all. So that part will get done, re-roofed later with rolled roofing. But you can see just tearing off a layer as he goes up, and he's probably better than half done at this point, probably 2/3. It's gone real well for him today. So I'm going to be going down and doing some more cuts for him, and I'll show you our more progress as we go. Well, as you can see, the house job has been coming along really well, and the roofing job is coming along all on his own. Once those roof jacks went up yesterday, we were done. We were all having a hard time, leg cramps from holding the ladder and climbing on that like that. You can see he's having to use his knee. I asked him if he wanted a pair of knee pads up there or not, but he was able to throw his rope over the chimney and use that, and he could pull himself up there to put the anchor on. He just kind of described to me how he did that. You see he's got his harness on now, being nice and safe. So today he doesn't need me as much, so I've been on yard duty cleaning up the leaves, because in the city it's leaf pickup only on certain days, and if you don't pick them up, they all end up in your house and in your garage every time the wind blows. Another big job is going to be taking this antenna down. It's not hooked up, the rotor's probably no good, and frankly, they're dangerous. Now this roof in its lifetime has been through several different types of shingles. It had cedar shakes previously that I mentioned. There is a interwoven square shingle. It's not like your old style 3-tab. And then this top layer is called Sheriff Goslin. And I was saying how the wind catches them and then they start going. So this outer edge here gets that west and southern wind, and they just start going. This side of the house gets the morning sun and was in rough shape from all that early morning heat for so many years. Now if we go down here, we have 3-tabs, and you can see there's a different kind of 3-tab here, and then even another different kind down there. A lot of times that different kind down there is called a starter strip, and a lot of times what a contractor will do is, instead of buying an actual starter strip, they'll use 3-tabs or even these dimensionals turned upside down. So let me show you that. So this is how it normally goes on. They would put it on like that so that you've got this smooth edge here, and then put the next one over the top of that. Now it's not just that. There is felt roofing paper that goes on a roof, and what's called ice and snow, and that ice and snow is on this layer so that no ice can start backing up. A lot of times what happens in a house, it's called ice damming. It happens in crevices where your different roof pitches meet. Like if this bathroom was higher and it tied into this part of the roof instead of sitting lower. you got your heated and your not heated section, so then it's constantly freezing and thawing, and then you end up with a layer of ice and snow on the top of your roof, and it will start working up under, causing damage. So these dimensionals work really good. This is called the GAF multi-layer system, limited lifetime warranty, and I think most shingles can offer that. So this is the cutting blade on the roofing utility knife. Now we've got a really good one that I picked up at the lumber yard that is a lot nicer to hold than this. It's a lot more substantial and nice to handle. I don't remember the name of it, and of course it's someplace else. So whenever we're starting jobs, it's kind of hard to kind of round out and collect all the supplies that were used on the last job. Now some of you might be saying, she's just a mom, she's just a DIYer. What does she know about roofing? Well, just like every other job, a beginning person doesn't start out as a roofer or an apprentice. They start out as a helper. So I started out just being the shingle cleanup person on this garage before we even had kids. I started getting upgraded every year. So this is now the third roof I've been involved in with him, and the last 3 years we just moved from one house to another. So each house gets done, and when I say from one house to another, we have had these rental properties and it's time to be doing our maintenance. Just like I was telling him with that fall harness, it's called the bucket of safe tie. So this wasn't available to homeowners years ago, and I remember saying, we'll never be able to do this roof, we have to hire it done. Well, when I got that quote, we figured there's got to be a way for us to do it. Well, this kind of stuff is required by roofers now, and because roofers and small contractors are going into places like Home Depot and Menards and Lowe's, they're having it available even for the homeowners to buy so that you've got the safety. This equipment, not just the ladders, is less money than a fall and what it can potentially cost you. These are the nails that we are using. We're using extra long. The 2.5 is the longest we could find, and I'm doing that because we're going into 2 layers with the new layer. Wood is underneath it, and any roofing felt or any products like that. These nails, generally, this is a cutoff. This is your nailing strip, and there's like a double layer and then these membranes also. Now a lot of people like those pneumatic or power nailers because it's just pew 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 pew. They do 4 across and they just space them, you know, put them at the ends and then halfway in between there. It's very fast. These are sinking in really well for him, and you know, for a guy with a good heavy hammer, you know, 2-3 hits, you've got it in. And this is about $40 a bucket, 30 pounds. That's quite a bit of nails. We opened this for this project. We're gonna end up getting another one, but the 2 of these alone is less money than what it would cost to buy a replacement for that nailer. We had rain all morning long, so we kind of had to wait for things to dry out before we could start. Some people would say, it's not worth it, you know. Well, we got that second set of ladder jacks up there, and he did 3 8-footers and a 10-footer. We were discussing the spacing. It's 8 foot 4 inches is the maximum length or width apart from the ladder jacks, and we did 8 foot. With the weight of the shingles and him, they were bowing down a little bit, so we decided to put that third anchor or ladder jack in the middle, and that's where the 8-footers came in handy for that, because then they were 6 feet apart instead of 8 feet, giving you a little added strength. So as you can see from that shot, they're just not bowing down under his weight as much. He is using the roof. He's like on the angle. They are called a 45-degree ladder jack for this. Now, we were discussing about, you know, is it worth it? Well, we didn't have to buy ladder jacks for my old house that we sold at the end of last winter because it was more flat, single-story house, and we could walk on it. The pitch was not extreme at all. We had the entire family helping on it. $600 worth of shingles. We had to buy a little bit of plywood on that house, and it was $900. We bought a pallet load of shingles, and I'm sure the petroleum prices have been up and down all this year. We're gonna have to buy more. You can get a pallet discount, and because we just move on to the next house and the next house that we own, we're buying them by the pallet to get that savings, because it's quite a bit. That roof total ended up being $900, and this one's going to be a lot less. So for me, like I had mentioned, a $10,000 quote. Before I quit working and having babies, I made $28,000 a year. So for a young family with a two-person income making $50,000, $60,000, a $10,000 roof is going to put you way back on paying off your mortgage early. This side got all done today. We're done early, and we'll start in on the bathroom top the next time. Of course, we ran out of warm weather, and we're out here at like 40 degrees today, working into a 30-degree week. But probably about 4 days, we'll be at the top. Today's project is taking this old homemade Dodge wagon over, and we're going to be cleaning up some roofing shingles. So he's got a slow drive, but it's all going to get done. The idea is we're going to bring the shingles back here. He's taken an old barrel and turned it into an incinerator for burning the old shingles, rather than taking them out and having them sit in the landfill at the transfer station. They do a truckload to the top of the bed for a $70 disposal fee. Well, once you start getting a couple loads in, you might as well have a dumpster delivered. But then that adds up also, and then you got to deal with snow removal for the dumpster and everything else. This way here, we're just able to back this in. We don't have to worry about the tractor getting stuck. I'm going to clean out the shingles from the garage, and I'm going to clean out shingles from the ground from this job. I basically have a spare roof sitting in the garage from the project we did last summer, because we hadn't had this all worked out yet. We'd only worked on the incinerator. So let's get to it. So the key thing with taking this out on the road is the SMV sign, or slow moving vehicle. If you have a trailer, you have to have it plated as a trailer in our area. If you have an SMV sign, it is simply becoming a implement of husbandry. Look it up, it will save you. This allows you to be able to take this out on the road, use it for hay. You can throw cattle in there, little pigs, take them off to auction, and you're all set. Yeah.
Pretty high.
You are very high.
I'm higher than the apartments.
Yep.
This is taller.
So, the trailer job and the shingle job is coming along nicely. I had a pile of shingles all the way back here. And on this side of the house, as luck would have it, they're cleaning up a lot easier than on the other side of the house. The other side of the house gets more sun. It doesn't get more wind, but it had more wear, and the pieces broke off tiny little bits. So this is the last of what I have left of my shingle pile. And I've just been working it along, a wheelbarrow at a time. Oh, checking for nails, going slow. But this is what I've got so far from this side of the house and from the other. So you see with the stake sides, this little build was great. It's worked out perfect for us. A lot of people kept telling us, scrap that old Dodge truck. Scrap it, scrap it. The nice thing about this side of the roof is all the shingles ended up on this side, or on this side, or on this side, or on this side of the bathroom, and that was shingle roofing. So it was a little hard breaking that off because we did it last, but it's all making it to the trailer a little bit at a time. The ground is really soft from the snow melting the last couple of days, so we didn't want to drive it with the tractor and tear up the yard, the Dodge getting scrapped, or the trailer project, this was the purpose. It's worked out really well. It's got a nice long hitch so all that weight can handle, and it was a 3/4 ton truck. He said we've had 2 tons in it in the past, and it's not squatting the tires at all. And I just keep trying to throw my pile of shingles up towards the tongue so that that last pile will all end up in here and hopefully not pull up on anything too much. But the tractor can handle getting it pulled, and these will all get trailered back to the farm. Well, my load of shingles is all cleaned up and they are ready to be going home. This was all recycled wood. We bought the fence paint, had leftover red paint and silver paint, leftover parts from a truck, and guys getting them out of here for me. Well, after about 3 weeks of on and off weather and snow, rain, we had sleet, we had thawing, we've had a thawing day today. He's gotten up there and the cap is done all the way across. We're in good shape. And now he's just doing some mortar work on the chimney. And that is a steep, steep roof for a DIY homeowner re-roofing job. Well, I guess this is as good a time as any to sit down and take a break after all that work. It's a hard-earned rest, but I gotta get right back to it. We got a nice warm day today, and I know there's still a few shingles on the front porch I gotta go get and do a little bit of touch-up paint on the back. So thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.